To the Tuesday, March 18, 2025 Urbandale City Council meeting on this beautiful day. I will call the meeting to order. Ask Nicole to take roll call, please.
Bodie,
Here.
Cacciatore,
Here.
Kroll,
Here.
Rosendahl.
Here.
Please stand as you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Urbandale is a national leader in character counts, endeavoring at all times to promote and model the principles of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. In conducting tonight's meeting, we expect that all participants will act in a respectful manner consistent with these principles. Item 2 is approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 3, presentations. We have a couple proclamations and then a presentation from the director of Westcom. So I'll start with the first proclamation regarding Senior Health Insurance Information Program counselors. Whereas the Urbandale Senior Recreation Center has proudly hosted the Senior Health Insurance Information Program, or SHIP, since July 2011, providing free, confidential Medicare counseling to seniors and their caregivers. And whereas dedicated volunteer SHIP counselors have given more than 600 hours in the past year alone, assisting 540 clients in making informed healthcare decisions. And whereas since the program's inception, 14 volunteers have served as SHIP counselors, demonstrating a strong tradition of service in our community. And whereas these efforts ensure Urbandale seniors receive essential guidance on Medicare, improving access to healthcare, and financial well-being. Now therefore, I, Robert Andwig, Mayor of the City of Urbandale, do recognize and thank the volunteer SHIP counselors at the Urbandale Senior Recreation Center for their outstanding service and encourage residents to take advantage of this vital program. And I know I will be doing that sooner than later, probably. So, I know Crystal Williamson from the Senior Center is here, and I think she probably has some folks with her, so if everybody can come up, I want to present this to them.
Are you sure?
On three. 1, 2, 3.
You want to add anything, Crystal, or anything? The next proclamation is for Transgender Day of Visibility 2025. Whereas Transgender Day of Visibility is held annually on March 31 as a time to celebrate transgender and non-binary people by acknowledging the determination it takes to live openly and authentically. Whereas we're reminded that many transgender and non-binary people face barriers and violence because of transphobia and discrimination. Whereas transgender and transgender and non-binary community members proudly live, work, and serve in Urbandale, and the City of Urbandale is an inclusive community where no one should live in fear of being who they are. So now, therefore, I, Robert Andwig, do hereby proclaim March 31, 2025 as Transgender Day of Visibility in Urbandale, and proclaim that our community is stronger and more meaningful when everyone is included, represented, and celebrated for who they are. And to sign this, I'd like to have Evan Klusner, one of our residents, come up and accept this.
Okay, on 3. 1, 2.
Now we'll move on to a presentation for Westcom by the Westcom chief, Mantola chief.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Give me the opportunity to present our annual report to you. There she is. So what did we accomplish in 2024 as Westcom? We upgraded our 911 telephone system to the latest, greatest version. Now we have text to 911 capabilities, we have video capabilities, and we're looking for more capabilities coming later this year, especially to do with text to 911 translations. We upgraded our computer-aided dispatch system to the latest, greatest version. Prior to my arrival 2 years ago, they were 3 to 4 versions behind. Now our technology goal is to stay no less than 1 version behind the latest release. And we've accomplished that with our entire emergency system. We also completed a complete record, police record management rehosting, and rehosting simply means that we moved it from a physical environment to a virtual environment. We run 2 data centers now, one at 19th Street, one at 50th Street in West Des Moines. So what does that mean in lay terms? It means if a tornado takes out 19th, we still function. If it takes out the water tower on 50th, we still function. So you have to hit us in 2 places to hurt us. We're in the final stages of a CAD to CAD system joint effort with with Des Moines and Polk County Sheriff's Office. What this means is simply it's a black box that we all purchased, and we can all connect our computer systems. They don't have to be alike, they don't have to be the same version, they don't have to be anything. Just 2 computer systems, we connect through the box and we can see and share all information with each other. So we can see all their officers, they can see all ours, they can see all our fire trucks, we can see all their ambulances. So if we do need to pull units or we're out of units for some reason, we can always reach across and pull them and request them electronically now versus the old way of picking up a phone, waiting for it to ring, and then dispatch, creating an incident, getting a supervisor's approval. All this is automated now. We're also including DPS, and Dallas and Warren counties have started the process of joining the coalition, and we look forward to a very successful outcome. So how did we do last year? 59,000 911 calls. 86% of those, or almost 87%, were wireless cell phone calls. 113,000 administrative calls, we call them, basically the 10-digit calls. 265 text to 911s. We created 172,000 computer-aided dispatch incidents. What that basically says is we sent your officers, your fire, your ambulance out 172,000 times in the combined of the 6 cities. We also did 148,000 inquiries. And inquiries basically is when the police officers want us to run a license plate, a vehicle ID, a person, for once, warrants, outstanding stuff. We query that for them in the nationwide computer system. More importantly, though, we got 645,000 responses to that and 793 returned responses. All that saying, and to put it in a nutshell, my people are busy. 880 transactions per 24 hours, 37 transactions per hour every day of the year. And that's how busy we are right now. The good news, 92% of all calls are handled and answered in less than 10 seconds. Now that sounds like we're bragging, but now let's look at us compared to the national standards. National standards is 90% in 15 seconds. We do that 98% of the time. 95% in 20 seconds. We do that 99% of the time, day in and day out. So our people perform very well to serve the 188,000 citizens across the 6 cities that we serve. We also have continuing education going on. We taught 706 hours of instructional classroom last year. On-the-job training hours, each of our employees received 1,464 hours of training, and total education continuing, 2,645 of continuing education, recertification, redoing their CPR every year, redoing their emergency medical dispatch, their fire dispatch, and all the other stuff that we have to do to stay certified and provide high-quality service. We also involve ourselves, our people, in many other of the 6 cities' community activities. On the left, you see the Waukee Leadership Institute, which graduated one of our supervisors last year. We've actually have 3 of our 5 that have graduated from city academies, and we're proud of that. We also did our in-spring service training, and they brought in the puppy dogs this year. They were very happy to see them. They keep pursuing me for a dog, and it's like, we'll talk about that. How about a fish? I think a fish is good. Language. This is one of my challenges, I guess. That's what I say. We had 2,930 total calls last year. 75% of them were in Spanish. And what we do is we contract with a service called Language Line to provide this service. So when we indicate or understand we're dealing with a language challenged individual, we have to call this number, then they have to find us a translator, and then we put them on the line. If your officer in the field pulls somebody over, or your fire or EMS encounters somebody, they call into us. We do the same process. All that to say that the reason I display this is the cost of this service has tripled since I've been here in 2 years. When I arrived in March of '23, it was $24,000 a year. This last year, it was $54,000. So we're looking at new ways of handling translation services.
Is that because is it based on the minutes used, or what is it? Okay.
It's per minute use.
So is the cost per minute gone up substantially, or is it just the increased demand that you
It's
have?
the increased demand, not only from our 911 callers, but from the field agencies asking for translation services.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what first I looked at, and it's like, wait a minute, the cost per minute's not going up, so why is my cost going up? But it's just total use of the system. We're looking at innovative things to do this, like I said, text voice to 911. We're also looking at voice-to-voice translation in using AI. It's a cutting edge, but it's coming out very predominantly right now, and we're really, really looking at that closely. Life-saving awards. Whenever our people have a caller in which they provide life-saving instructions, CPR, childbirth, controlled bleeding, stuff like that, anything that we provide before the ambulance service, a police officer, or a fire truck arrive, and the outcome is positive, we give life-saving awards. We had 17 of those last year. That's triple of what we did the year before, and we're very proud of that. We also have a very strong volunteer outreach group. If there's anything you want us to attend, please invite us. We're glad to come. Even if it's a barbecue in the backyard, just let us know. You may be surprised. They'll show up with their little awning and their giveaways and do all kinds of things. We did have a retirement last year. Mr. Cuddy Mingles there on the upper right, lower left, retired after 22 years of service to Westcom. We're proud of that. We actually have 9 retirees since Westcom first began in 2001, which is unheard of, because I can honestly tell you, I've been doing this 30 years. This is the first retirement ceremony I've ever attended. I've never seen anybody go to retirement. We're blessed. 1/3 of my staff has been here over 20 years. I have one employee who's been here 27 years. We have a good, solid senior staff. We also, our association started the first annual retiree luncheon because we do have such a large amount of retirees from Westcom that are still living in the local area. So they sponsored a luncheon last year, which we're in the planning stage to do number 2 this year. One of the things we're working on, as I mentioned, next August is our 25th anniversary. So we've launched the Westcom Reimagine campaign, kind of based on an old saying from Winston Churchill. But I think it's time that we sat down and we looked at ourselves, everything. We've already started it financially when we started the budget this last year. We're looking at every line item, every vendor, and we're challenging everybody to validate their cost, their services to us. But we're gonna also do that to ourselves. We're gonna look at everything we do, every policy, every procedure, every SOP, and see where we can do better. Create a new image of Westcom, because those of you on the city councils know who we are. You're our banker. Of course you know who we are. The police know who we are. Fire EMS know who we are. And those that call 911 kind of know who we are. But in general public, nobody knows who you are. And so we want to improve on that over the next 18 months. So mental picture, new conception. Create Westcom in a new and creative way. Can't be doing the same thing in 2025 that we did in 2001. There's new technology, new efficiencies. We need to bring that to the table for the citizens of our communities. So an example I decided to throw in here is reimagination, artificial intelligence. It's now the new buzzword. You're hearing it every day on social media, but 10 years ago, if you think back, did you ever hear about it? No. Did it exist? Absolutely. It's been in existence for almost 15, 20 years. It's just now becoming cutting edge. They're being able to handle it, manage it properly, guarantee its security, safety, especially in the public safety world. So in 2021, there was a poll taken on what do you think about AI? And only 40% of the people interviewed said, oh yeah, maybe someday. And 34% said, we'll wait and see. In 2023, that increased to 48%, now believe it's here to stay. And 24% was still on the edge. And as of January this year, 56%. We've crossed the 50% threshold of those that understand it, know it, see it, and know it's going to be here. And the one sad event that occurred to us last year is we lost one of our 18-year employees to a motorcycle accident. Jesse had been with us, very strong, very well, lived out of Polk City. It was a very sad day for those that had been here forever. That's the end of my presentation. All I want to do is ask you, like I did last year, come visit us. We love to have visitors. We love to give tours. Doesn't matter if it's you as a group, you as an individual, you send your Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, doesn't matter. You can call us, we'll schedule it. I do want to I was going to say condemn, that's the wrong word. Praise the Urbandale City Council. I said this challenge last year, and as of today, you are still the only council that has come as a whole to visit us. And I use it against all the others. You really don't understand or can really visualize what it's about until you get down in our dungeon and see. And we've changed since you were there last year. You used to see 7, 8 monitors hanging, and we whittled that down till we have one big 52-inch monitor now. And 2 small monitors, so we're upgrading. Any questions you have of me, or?
Well, we do have a new council member, so we'll need to have him get out there. Maybe we should go as a council too, but.
Yeah.
I've been there a few times, obviously, and it is very cool, and it's very, it's a great job that you do, so thank you, Chief, for that.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna date myself, but I was here when Westcom was created 25 years ago. I was a council member, and I remember the discussion back then when, there was a little bit of a turf war as far as each city saying, okay, we're gonna give this up, or we're gonna have our dispatch located in West Des Moines. Well, this is one of the examples of intergovernmental collaboration early intergovernmental collaboration that I always say it's a success. We've made a system that's better together, and we've saved millions of dollars over the years.
Correct. And honestly, Mayor, that's what drew me to this job. When I saw the opening and the fact that 6 city councils decided to come together, elected officials, and fund a solution for the better, yeah, I had to be part of it. I fought tooth and nail, 7 interviews to get here, but I got here. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions?
I think with the AI ideas of including that into the different services, is that going to be more, like, are you thinking of automated services, or is it more of like a support tool?
Yeah, an example is, out of those 113,000 administrative calls we take, 6,600 of those are alarm calls from alarm companies, whether it's a burglar alarm, a house alarm, business alarm, whatever. Using AI technology, we can automate that now so that they don't have to call. All they do, they'll call a new number, which will automatically build an incident in our computer-aided dispatch system, and we can send it. It takes 2.5 to 3 minutes right now to process each one of those alarm calls. And in our preliminary testing, we can now do it in 20 seconds or less. So it's gonna shave a lot of time, avoid mistakes and errors because I answer the call and I type it in and then I send it. And so all that's off the table. The language will be the big one that we're after, and the cutting edge voice to voice is coming later this fall. But that's when they pick up the call, whatever language they speak, the AI understands it, translates it to English. When we speak in English, it translates it back to their native language.
And is there still going to be a backup of that language line
Yeah,
just in
we'll
case there's
keep-
an issue?
Yeah, we'll keep language line probably for a while, but the fact that we reduce it to, it's a cost per minute, if we're not using it, then that will save us a tremendous amount of money.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we'll move on to Citizens Forum. This is the opportunity to speak on something that's not a part of tonight's regular agenda. Would anyone like to address the council this time? Shannon?
I'm Channing Dutton. I live at 3815 Greenview Drive. I walk tonight, so I know it's 3,000 steps away. I want to tell you what a great city council this is. I've attended many of your meetings, and I've listened to the proclamations and the openings. This one tonight's special. It's spectacular. The importance of SHIP. I took advantage of that. My wife took advantage of that. Mayor, you may be taking advantage of it, I'm sorry to say.
Sooner than later.
But what a great community organization. And the proclamation, bravo, good for you guys. Proud of you, and I'm proud to be a citizen here. And even talking about the 911 system and costs and the way that we look together and work together as a community brings me to my point tonight. And you'll notice that I didn't give you anything tonight to carry home, to think about, and that's because it's in your email account when you get home tonight. And that is, the time has come for Urbandale to exercise that same type of leadership that we've been talking about, visionary leadership. And I'm proposing an idea that is a neat idea that is a win-win for Central Iowa and this community. And that is, Urbandale should initiate an ordinance to restrict idling of fossil fuel engines. Now, when I say this to people, they kind of give me that look like, oh, there you go again. But if you look carefully at the information I've just sent you, many cities around the planet have already done this. Telluride, Aspen, Austin, Texas, Beijing, New York, Chicago, LA. Everyone is understanding that, we don't allow people to smoke in a classroom. And so why do we allow fossil fuel engines to idle? And in my walk tonight, I went by 2 idling vehicles in the park, idling on a beautiful night. It's so fantastic. The windows should have been down. But sadly, I noticed this in particular with city vehicles. And so the proposal I've sent to you is not to ask the citizens to be involved in idling fossil fuel engines, but for this city council to demonstrate leadership and idle its own fossil fuel engines. Now, the chief of police wrote to me recently saying, it's not my policy that we idle police cars even during city council meetings. But yet I've been at several city council meetings where the vehicles are idling in the parking lot. It's a custom and tradition back from the days of starters and other mechanical devices on cars, but it should come to an end. And this is a painless one, and I'm providing two other painless suggestions, and that is, number one, the fine is $25, but it's paid by the owner of the vehicle. That would be the city of Urbandale. But that fine goes to the Urbandale Food Bank. So it's a win-win where we benefit the people of Urbandale in multiple ways, and we lead, and we can do it without spending a dime. Oh, and by the way, I give you the numbers. If an engine idles for about 6 hours in a 24-hour period, right now with gas at a low price, you're saving about $2,700 a year by stopping that idling. When gas is back to $5 a gallon, it'll be more than $5,000 a year, and that directly impacts the purchase decision on other alternative energy vehicles. So there's an idea for you in your inbox. Thanks very much. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you, Channing. Is there anyone else like to address the council? All right, seeing none, we'll move on then. Item 5 is the adoption of minutes. First is item 5.1 for the March 4 meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. We have a
You were doing so well.
It didn't come up.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. That passes. And then on item 5.2 is the minutes from the lunch and learn of March 11.
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 6 is the consent agenda. There are 15 items on the consent agenda for approval.
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Motion by Rosendahl,
Second.
second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes. All right, item 7, public hearings. We'll start with item 7.1, and that is a public hearing and consideration of bids for the Lions Park Improvements Phase 3 site work. The public notice for this was published in the March 7, 2025 Des Moines Register. And is there any objections to that notice is published?
There were none.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. That passes. And to introduce this is our Assistant Parks and Rec Director, Scott Volk. Scott?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Here to talk about another step in the Lions phasing. This is the construction of Phase 3. Last time we did the equipment that goes into Phase 3 as far as for the playground. This portion of the project is, I think I might have said last meeting, 39 head-in parking stalls along the south side there on Prairie, plus 2 ADA parking stalls, and then walkways to the site, around the playground, and then some additional sidewalks through there. And then this also includes 2 alternates. The first alternate is the sub-base in the playground. Remember, we talked about the pour and play, so that requires some concrete underneath there, so we put that as an alternate. And then the second is the sidewalk that comes here from the basketball courts to the north. We did make some changes from the original plan set or the original concept. It was talked about just the need to have that extra path through the park, but we got it as tight to the softball fence as we could, and then we actually made it, it's a little bit smaller than the original concept as well too, but it does allow us to move vehicles through, pick up trash, and allow people to walk through as well too. So those are the two alternates that are in the project. Bids were received on March 12th. Total of 8 bids were received for the various prices in there, but Concrete Connection was the lowest qualified bidder. Construction for this project is scheduled to start after July 4th celebrations. The parking portion along the south side is scheduled to be completed by August 22nd, getting that portion done before the schools start. But the rest of it, we go till October 1st. Giving some additional time in there. There will be some sidewalks affected as you come from north to south. We do plan on communicating with the school as we did last time, and then posting detours out ahead so people know that the sidewalk's gonna be closed. This one shouldn't be quite as impactful. The last time we did the sidewalks, we had to do some water main work, which is deeper, so that did take us a little bit longer. This is mostly, although there's some utility work involved, it's not quite as much. So, and then of course this does include prepping for the playground as well as the utilities for the 4th of July celebrations along Prairie as well too, or other food trucks and things like that in the future. So, staff is recommending the award to the contract to Concrete Connections in the amount of $519,637, and that does include both alternates 1 and 2 for the project. I would be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Thank you, Scott. Questions for Scott from the council?
I was just wondering, and maybe it's more of a John and Kristen question, how that might time out with the Complete Streets project to the immediate north. Aren't they doing that this year? No?
Again, we do not have a defined schedule for the Complete Streets yet. We're
Okay.
still wrapping up the design, go out to bid, but it'll very likely, it's gonna need to occur, in June before the 4th of July celebration or after, the 4th of July
Okay.
before school starts again. So generally, probably about the same time, yes.
Okay, but no real inherent conflict you don't see?
No,
Okay.
no, should not
Thanks.
be.
Thanks.
We're on public hearing on this item. Would anyone like to address the council on the item? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move?
Motion by Bodie,
Second.
second by Rosendahl. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Oh, I'm sorry, that was to open the public hearing. I said, I thought that was pretty quick. That passes, now it passes, all right. Then there are 3 resolutions for approval.
Move Resolution 111-2025.
Motion by Bodie,
Second.
second by Rosendahl. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Move Resolution 112-2025.
Motion by Bodie,
Second.
second by Rosendahl. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Move Resolution 113-20.
Motion by Bodie,
Second.
second by Rosendahl. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 7.2 is a public hearing to consider the drainage and utility easement vacation for Lot 1 Chapel Hill Gardens at 4400 Merle Hay Road. The public notice for this was published in the March 7, 2025 Des Moines Register. If any objections to that notice is published?
There were none.
Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. That passes. And to introduce this is our Community Development Director, Steve Franklin. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. This is a request to vacate a portion of a 45-foot wide drainage and utility easement. It is being brought to you. It's in conjunction with a minor site plan that Chapel Hill Gardens Cemetery is undertaking, and so here's an aerial photo of that property. Merle Hay Road here on the right side of the screen. This is their property, and we're up here in the far northwest corner, which is a portion of their property that they haven't developed, and they've come to the time now where they do want to develop that, get some additional burial plots in there, a couple of columbariums, and then a sidewalk connection. And so those are being placed up here in this corner. And the way it lays out, it was going to be too tight to this easement to get it to work with the burial plots that they'd like to do. And so they wanted to vacate a portion of this red easement that you would see here. And the actual specifics of that portion that would be vacated, it's in a regular shape. It would leave no less than 25 feet in width for what would still stay there. Staff has reviewed this, including engineering from a stormwater standpoint. The applicant looked at this. They can't find any evidence that there's utilities even in there. But we're satisfied that if anybody would ever need to get in there in the future, the remaining easement would certainly take care of that and be sufficient for any future needs. So staff recommends approval of vacation of this part of the easement. Be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Steve. Questions?
Is the site plan something that would come before us, or
It would not, based on our criteria, it's a minor site plan.
Gotcha.
And so it's nothing that's really gonna require a permit or anything. They are, the one part I think somebody asked about, there is a sidewalk connection. People do walk in here quite a bit talking to them, and so they are gonna provide a connection from this roadway up here and meet the existing sidewalk on the south side of Townsend. And then there would be a crossing here on Townsend as well to get across the street if you needed to. So, but no, that would not be something that would come before you.
Okay, and is that, it looks like now that I'm looking really closely at it, there's a sidewalk on the south of Townsend, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep,
sounds
it
good.
would tie into that existing sidewalk, yes.
Excellent.
It's fascinating because we just literally walked this for the first time the other day.
Is
and they've
that
done a
right?
ton of clearing of trees and
Right.
debris back in there.
Yeah, we had one person call today and ask about it because they were taking a few of the brush trees and stuff out here and wondered what was going on. So we explained the situation and they didn't seem to have any concerns.
It'll be great to have that connecting sidewalk there.
Yeah.
All right. We are in public hearing on this item. Would anyone like to address the council on this item? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Motion by Bodie,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. That passes. There are two items for consideration.
Motion to approve resolution 105-2025.
Motion by Rosendahl,
Second?
second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Motion to approve the first reading of ordinance 2025-07.
Second?
Motion by Rosendahl, second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 7.3 is a public hearing and consideration of bids for the 114th Street PCC sidewalk Avenue to Douglas Avenue. Public notice for this was published in the February 28th, 2025 Des Moines Register. Ask any objections to that notice is published.
There were none.
Is there a motion to open this public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Kroll.
Second.
Second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. That passes. And introducing this is our Director of Engineering and Public Works, John Larson. John?
Yep, good evening, Mayor, members of council. This is our bid tabulation for our 114th Street sidewalk project that goes from Douglas Avenue north to Aurora Avenue. Last Wednesday, March 12th, we received 11 bids for this project. We're recommending the low bid from Midstate Solutions LLC, including the alternates numbers 1 and 2, in the amount of $168,071. I'd like to note that the city's share on this will be just over $102,000. The low bid for Midstate Solutions was approximately $58,000, or almost 26% less than our estimate. And then alternates 1 and 2 just involve some repairs to private irrigation. And our sidewalk, what we're proposing, will be 5 feet wide, 4 inches thick of concrete, and approximately 3,800 feet in length. We do have 2 petition and waivers on the project. One is with ESAP Portfolio, which is basically the Extended Stay America, And then we also have one with Aurora Business Park too, which is R&R Realty. And what those petition and waivers detail is that the property owners agree that they will pay their portion of the project, which is half of the cost of the sidewalk along their property, and that they're also fully responsible for the irrigation repairs, those two alternates. And then again, we're anticipating the project being done by September 19th of this year. And where the project is at is last year, Meredith is up to the north. We constructed the sidewalk from Meredith down to Aurora. Now we'll pick up where that project stopped, continue along the west side of 114th and connect back down to the trail system on Douglas. And then just a note, next year the plan is to come on the south side of Aurora with a sidewalk that'll connect into the walking loop around their pond. So I guess with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right, thanks, John. Questions for John on this? All right, we are in public hearing on this item. Would anyone like to address the council on this? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Rosendahl.
Second.
Second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes. There are 5 items for consideration.
Motion to approve resolution 123-2025.
Motion by Rosendahl.
Second.
Second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Motion to approve resolution 124-2025.
Motion by Rosendahl.
Second.
Second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Motion to approve resolution 125-2025.
Motion by Rosendahl.
Second.
Second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Motion to approve resolution 055-2025.
Motion by Rosendahl.
Second.
Second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. Throwing me off.
Yeah, I just swallowed.
That passes.
Motion to approve resolution 056-2025.
Motion by Rosendahl.
Second.
Second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes. That concludes our public hearings. We'll move on to planning and zoning items. Item 8.1 is Bentley Ridge Townhomes Plat 1, the final plat of 172nd Street and Springbrook Trails. Do you?
This plat is just over 6.5 acres of the overall Bentley Ridge development, which is about 138 acres. And this all, you might recall, is at the southwest corner of 170th and Waterford Road. The preliminary plat and site plan for this was approved just this past December. So this is just the final plat creating those parcels on which they can be constructed. So Springbrook Trail down here to the south, and you can see the 19 different individual lots for these townhomes that will be constructed. Be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Questions?
Do we have a general criteria when it comes to like radius of walking distance from a park when, just like a general criteria for how we kind of select where those go?
No, not generally. We do try to, like, for example, this particular, and I'll show you on the next item, kind of an overall drawing, but whenever there's a really big parcel, 100 acres or whatever, and we've had a few over the years, we do require them to do a preliminary plat for the whole thing, just so we can kind of get a sense on where open spaces and parks are gonna be. And we try to keep that in mind so that we can keep something, but there's no minimum distances or anything like that that we specifically look at.
Okay, sounds good. I think that, like, just generally, especially when we're moving out west, like, it would be good to kind of have an idea of how we would want to make sure that parkland does get
Right.
proximal to people, so that there's not something where it's like, well, there's a park, but you got to cross Douglas to get to it, right? Like, it's-
Exactly. Yeah,
that-
I'll
that's a
show
little
you.
more of a lift.
I'll remind me and I'll address that point on the
Sounds
next
good.
drawing that I show you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve council letter 8117.
Second.
Motion by Kroll, second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 8.2 is to consider the Biltmore West Plat 3 final plat at 180th Street and Hickory Drive. Steve?
Okay, so this is a final plat that is about 23 acres in size for the overall Biltmore West development. And you can see on the screen, this is the particular area that we're talking about. Plat 1 was basically this area down in here next to Meredith Drive. Plat 2 was this area in here, and they had this as an outlot, and outlots are not buildable, so now this is Plat 3. And the drawing I was referencing that I would show you is this, which is just kind of this is on in our locates. And what we do is every time that we get a preliminary plat, we go ahead and put that line work in there. And this just kind of helps us see the big picture, like how are all the streets going to connect and how's it all going to work. So this is what I was mentioning, this whole thing is Bentley Ridge, all of this up here, and you can see how big that is. But we still have different areas that need to be developed and all the different plats that come along. So we do drawings like this, and you can see there was a little bit of a change in the line work here where these two streets come through. But part of what we look at is these types of areas, and we try to figure out, okay, where are those open spaces going to be? Where are we going to be able to have park areas? And so to your point, Blake, when we were looking at all these, we know we're going to have a park right here over in this development. We know we're going to have a park right here over in this development. And we just try to keep track of where all those are. The Acadia Park is down here. And then, of course, we got Walnut Creek Regional Park just off the screen to the right. So we do try to keep track of them. And even though we don't put a distance on it, we do try to look and say, oh, okay, we're going to have a park here, we're going to have a park here, we're going to have a park here. There's two of them on this side of 156. There's another one on this side of 156. So we do try to kind of track it. So hopefully that helps with what we're looking at. In terms of this particular plat on this drawing, we're talking about this area that's right here, which is the north end of this development. It is 83 single-family detached lots. Some of them have a 70-foot minimum width. Others have a 65-foot minimum width, which is fairly typical of a lot of our right now, getting different lot widths in there. And then you can see all the connections to the different developments that will occur over time as things start to develop out there. So Planning Commission does recommend approval, subject to items noted. Be happy to answer questions.
What is this street, the north-south street on the very west end of the graphic that's up right now?
At the very west end of what?
Of the graphic right
The
here.
graphic here.
180th, I think is what this one, or what's that? Oh, yeah, at the far west end, it would be 184th, and then in this particular plat, this is 180th.
Okay, so that's the end of the Urbandale universe as we know it.
That is correct. Yeah, yes. That is the current end of the universe, yes, 184th.
moment.
All right. Any further?
Motion to approve council letter 8118.
Motion by Rosendahl,
Second.
second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 8.3 is to consider the Walnut Hills Elementary 2025 site improvement site plan at 4240 156th Street. Steve?
So here is an aerial photo, as soon as that pops up, of the existing condition out there. And the site plan is proposing reconfiguring and repaving that northern driveway. They're adding 4 parking stalls. And really the hope is this is just kind of a little bit of a reconfiguration. It's going to help with their maintenance. They're also taking up an area back here that is in bad disrepair and being able to fix that up a little bit. And our hope is that with the reconfiguration that they're doing, let me go to, did I put the site plan in here? Why did I not do that? Okay, hang on a second. Let me get that for you. Sorry about that. Anyway, the hope is that with these changes, it will help circulation in there quite a bit, and will also help our situation that we have every once in a while on 156th Street when it gits really busy. Here we go. Okay, so that's the existing condition, everything you see in the dark here. And then what they're gonna change it to is that. And so it just kind of moves some of the circulation up. And definitely hope it will help things. If you have specific questions, I already put Kirk on alert. He's gonna have to come up and explain it. So fire away if you got him. He'll be your man.
I was gonna ask, so is that considered like a drop-off loop, or is that like kind of a bus loop?
I thought maybe you'd ask me about the future westward expansion of Urbandale.
That's the next question.
Happy to be here. Kirk Johnson, Chief Operating Officer for the Waukee School District. Thank you for allowing me the time, Mayor, City Council. So yeah, the question, Blake, is so the part of the project to the right, to the east, would be just for bus drop-off and pickup. Also, trash collection and nutrition staff parking back there. So better circulation, better stacking, just compared to how it was designed probably 25 years ago. So.
And is that like the end of the loop that goes into the building there? I'm assuming that's like a door in or something like that?
Yeah, so as a part of the overall project, so this is a two-phase project. So what you're seeing right now is summer 2025, but we'll rework things to the south eventually. But yes, right now, students would get on and get off the bus based on how they're dismissed out of the building. And whether that's from the east or from the main entrance. I'm pointing like you guys know where I'm pointing. I recognize that.
See the cursor if you want.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So thank you. So yeah, right here where my cursor's at's the main building. So depending on how building administration staff work through this, some students would come out here, but then also we have, depending on bus riders, you know, how that all goes, they would come out, they would fold out that eastern part of the building.
Sounds good.
We're hopeful overall, as Steve said, and it's been great working with city staff on this. We're hopeful whether, you know, this year and next year, it's going to be an improvement for the whole area. So.
All right. Thanks, Kurt.
Motion to approve Council Letter 8119.
Motion by Kroll.
Second.
Second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote.
Thank you.
That passes. Thanks, Kirk, for being here. Item 9.1 is consider the 2025 Series A General Obligation Capital Loan Notes. And Nikki, our Finance Director, Nikki Lamb's going to walk us through it.
Yes, Mayor and members of the council, I'm not expanding west, but we're paying for stuff in town. This is the next procedural step to get the bond sold. So based on the CIP that you have already approved, this is the step to actually put this item out for sale. So the bond official statement, there's a very long document attached to the council letter that is in draft form still. If there's any changes, we still have time to make those. Sometime in the next 10 days, we'll be doing our rating call with the Moody's rating service. So that's kind of the final stamp on all of that process, and then it all gets finalized. The sale is scheduled for April 15th. So that will be bid that morning, so we'll have them that afternoon ready for your council meeting that evening to accept the bid. So that's the pieces from the bond perspective. The other piece that is on here is our dissemination agreement. This is just an amendment with Piper Sandler, who does the postings. It's called to the Emma site. So all public bonds are put out there, and every time we do a disclosure, they go and actually upload that for us and attach it to all the QSIPs that we have out there for every bond that we have. So this is just adding these 2025 to their current agreement, so they continue to do that service. So both just procedural items for now, and the next excitement will be April 15th.
All right.
Happy to answer any questions.
Are these bonds usually sold to one entity, or is it kind of a collection of groups that make up the purchase?
It's usually to a brokerage, because we're over the bank qualification limit, which is still $10 million. So we're issuing 12.215 is the anticipated sale. It might be slightly restructured based on the bids that come in. It's usually a brokerage that buys it and then divvies it all up from there, so they can sell them in $5,000 increments. But yes, typically it's one bidder. We had, I think, 7 bidders maybe last year. We had a really healthy appetite for our bonds, and have been having that. Being bigger, you attract bigger brokerages, right? But if you're under 10 million, that those are bank qualified, so sometimes you have a variety, but we haven't been under $10 million in a while. So that is, I anticipate it's still gonna be really good. These ones are anticipated, what did I say it was? 3.9 was the estimated, but average market, I think he said it closed last week was 3.4 was the average. So I anticipate that we're usually within 0.25%, if not better. So I'm hoping that it'll settle around there.
Thanks.
Okay, we have 2 items for consideration.
Move resolution 120-2025.
Motion by Bodie,
Second?
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. That passes.
Move resolution 121-2025.
Motion by Bodie,
Second.
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9.2 is consider the Lions Park Courts Reservation Policy. And Scott, answer any questions if there are.
Do we do court reservations today for any of our courts, or is this a new thing? Okay. Is that something we're considering for the other courts too, or is this kind of like, let's float the balloon out there, see how it goes?
Yeah, I think that's the plan right now, just to see what the response is from the users, so.
I'd be really curious to kind of see, yeah, like,
Yeah.
once we have like a
A
trail
season or
of
two to
data,
know,
that'd be
yeah.
interesting to know.
We, obviously, we take shelter reservations, so same system as that, but we have not gotten into the court rentals before.
Gotcha, thank you.
Scott, do you anticipate folks, like, will people need to write down who the reservation is for? I mean, it's that person, but whoever their partners are, who they're playing with?
So that will be a question, but right now it'll just show the person that takes the reservation, or makes the reservation, I'm sorry. I won't show Tanya's name, but it'll show the person that that made the reservation. And then when you go to the court, there'll be a QR code that you'll be able to scan and see whose names are on the reservations, just right there. So hopefully you know who you're planning to compete against that day, so. As a pickleball player, compete against, so you know who you're playing against. So, you know, I could make a reservation and then invite 3 of you to play that day. So it's,
Okay,
one reservation serves 4 people.
got it.
So-
I'm just curious if we'll run into situations where one partner will reserve for 2 hours and then the other partner will reserve for 2 hours.
Likely. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is there a motion?
Move approval of council letter 8123.
Motion by Kroll.
Second.
Second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote.
Oh, shoot. I didn't mean an A. Can I change that? Can you make it I bumped the wrong button. Try again? Oh,
Yep.
you got me,
It's in.
thanks.
Yep.
I was just gonna say that.
Down with pickleball. Won't be able to face my neighbors now.
All right, that passes. Item 9.3 is consider the contract for the floor mat services for city facilities. Scott, will answer any questions on this?
Move approval of council letter 8115.
Motion by Kroll.
Second.
Second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Everything else on the agenda are all John Larson items, so I'm not gonna say that. So if you want John to come up and answer anything, just say that, but I'm not gonna say that every time, so. Item 9.4 is consider the engineering services agreement for the Northview Park Trail replacement.
Move approval of council letter 8122.
Motion by Kroll,
Second.
second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9.5 is consider the engineering services agreement for the Madison Avenue storm sewer improvements between 81st Street and 83rd Street.
Move Resolution 080-2025.
Motion by Bodie,
Second.
second by Rosendahl. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9.6 is consider the engineering services agreement for the 2025 stormwater project.
Motion to approve Resolution 119-2025.
Motion by Rosendahl.
Second.
Second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote.
We broke it.
Fast, it couldn't keep up. John, you're gonna have to talk now.
I apologize. I'll take a voice vote for this, see if I can get it to catch up.
All right.
Let's see, Rosendahl,
Yes.
Bodie,
Yes.
Cacciatore,
Yes.
Kroll.
Yes.
That passes. I'm gonna take a minute to. It didn't sound good.
No.
We only have 5 more votes left, so if we need to.
I think we are back online.
You want us to vote on what's on screen?
No, we already voted
We
on
already
that.
voted on
We
that
did the
one.
voice, the roll call on that. All right.
Yay. I think we're back on track.
All right, that passes again. Item 9.7 is consider the engineering services agreement for the Douglas Avenue streetscape from Patricia Drive to 111th Street.
And is this just specifically focused around like landscaping, or is this also like hard service work?
With this one, we're intending it to be very similar to what we did just to the east. So basically, we're tying in what we did from, call it Walnut Creek, or North Walnut Creek, over to just shy of 100th Street, and then we'd also previously done at the interstate from 111th West, so we're just gonna tie those together, which intending to, will likely try to keep some sort of hardscapers are coming through, and then, of course, the landscaping.
Okay, thanks.
9.7.
Motion to approve Council Letter 8110.
Motion by Rosendahl,
Second?
second by Kroll. Discussion, please vote.
Want to make sure I'm in the right place. Is this?
9.7.
Down.
For Resolution 115, okay. Okay, thank you.
That passes. Item 9.8 is consider the engineering services agreement for Parkview Drive reconstruction from 86th Street to Iltis Drive.
Move Resolution 079-2025.
Motion by Bodie,
Second.
second by Rosendahl. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9.9 is consider the engineering services agreement for the community entrance signage phases 5 and 6.
Move approval, Council Letter 8116.
Motion by Kroll,
Second?
second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote. That passes. Item 9.10 is to consider the equipment rental for trucks for spring cleanup.
Move approval, council letter 8114.
Motion by Kroll.
Second.
Second by Cacciatore. Discussion, please vote.
I will take a voice vote. We're almost there.
All right.
Kroll,
Yes.
Cacciatore,
Yes.
Bodie,
Yes.
Rosendahl.
Yes.
Thank you.
Only one more to go, so. Item 9.11 is consider the streetlight proposal for Douglas Avenue from 86th Street to Elm Drive.
Motion to approve, council letter 8112.
Motion by
Second.
Rosendahl, second by Bodie. Discussion, please vote.
I will take a voice vote on this one to get us to the finish line here. Rosendahl,
Yes.
Bodie,
Yes.
Kroll,
Yes.
Cacciatore.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, that takes us to the end of our regular agenda. So item 10 would be city manager's report. David?
Yeah, just real quickly, just a reminder, we're about 7 weeks away from the partnership's DC trip. I know those who are going on the trip have already signed up for it. We're in the process of working on setting up the meetings with, to the extent possible, the delegation, where not possible, the staff. And so there'll be more to come on that. We're looking at discussing both the zip code issue in detail, and then also looking at, if we don't have clarification between now and then, when the census folks might be starting up their work again, if they intend to start their work up again. So those are kind of two issues that we've looked at to this point to include in our agenda. If there are other matters that you'd like us to take a look at, or if there's some research that you'd like us to look into, let us know. We still have a little bit of time, but we'd like to put together an itinerary and some talking points in advance of that and get that out to everybody before we load up. So 7 weeks will go by quickly. That's all I have for tonight.
In the past, we've looked and had conversations around the Hickman Exchange, the interchange. Do we need to have that on our agenda this year? No?
The financial stuff, yeah. And we've got, the partnership has a master list of projects, and so we've got inclusion in that. So we'll put together a list of things to go over and see if we're missing anything.
Sounds good.
Did we get our list of the MPO too? Okay. All right. Okay.
Are we going to talk about transgender civil rights? I think we should.
On the DC trip?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, I think we should. It's happening at a federal level and at a state level. I think we should speak to it.
Yeah.
If we don't, I think we'll regret it.
all right. Item 11, mayor and council items. So Amy?
I had something and then I just completely blanked on it. Come back to me.
Okay. Joe?
Go Bulldogs. That's it. Nothing more.
All right, I agree. Blake?
Couple items here. One, Pat and I met with Amanda and the consultants from look at the DART plan overview. It was pretty educational, just kind of getting a fuller picture of what they're referring to when they talk about ridership versus coverage. Looking forward to kind of further conversations and seeing how they trot that plan out and what does it look like. Because I'm sure if you're looking at ridership versus coverage, that factors into how we get served as a
Right.
community as well. So
Yep.
looking forward to that. Bravo had their March meeting last week as well. So just a couple of highlights from that. They did point out, so their Passport to Culture, all their 28E partners have $2,500 of reimbursable dollars that it can use to spend with cultural partners that are part of Bravo and do programming in the community. And Urbandale is one of those that has continued to do it year over year. And so wanted to appreciate that and make sure we continue to take advantage of those dollars since we're a member. One of the things that they did was do a grant for $10,000 to the Iowa National Bar Association because it's 100 years since they were formed. They're doing a heritage tour to kind of celebrate the history of the National Bar, and they felt that that fit very well with kind of the different discretionary grants that they had available. They did approve the slate of the arts and culture grants that was funded through the Des Moines ARPA dollars. It's I think $500,000 that Des Moines allocated. That announcement is going to be happening on the 21st at noon. And then just the theme of budget was ever present. And so I think as a coalition of cities putting together kind of a proposal for what we think the future of that 2080 looks like so that we can have a consistent approach instead of having them get hit by 17 different 27 or 28E agreements that are all different and have different things associated with them, I think would be very helpful for making sure that they can plan for the future. So those are the two things I have.
Do you want to address that, David? I mean, you've had a lot of discussion.
Yeah, I mean, just the agreement, we finally do have a draft agreement that's hot off the press within the last 48 hours. So Nikki and I are taking a look at that. And, the goal is to get that to the council as soon as possible. There's still a couple of cities, I think, that have some discussing to do with their elected officials. And that will be interesting to see that play out, particularly with Bravo, but the plan is to get that approved by legal and get it on the council agenda as soon as it's possible.
Is there going to be kind of like a tentative version sent to Sally and Bravo just to make sure that like they're kind of keyed in on what's coming to us first?
Once the legal review happens, the idea was not to get it sent out before everybody had a chance to get it to their legal review, but then absolutely it'll be shared. And that was, the mayor and I shared that with Bravo when we had our conversation with them a couple of weeks ago, that our intent is to share it. There's no surprises in it, 25%. The longer term issues about growth and how growth can occur is deferred. The initial agreement is to just get the 2/7 changed to 25%, and I think the overwhelming majority of the cities have, at least at the city manager level, signed off on that and deferring the second component, which is the growth piece, which is going to take some time to put together the language on it.
Thank you.
The only thing I've got is Walnut Creek Watershed Management Authority on April 26th, kind of in honor of Earth Day, is having a celebration, if you will, at the Colby Park in Windsor Heights with, I think it's 1 to 3. Kristen, are you well aware, or noon to 3? You'll have a booth there. So, and there's a cleanup, as I understand, in the morning that they're planning. So anybody available, it might be a nice thing for both education and show support for the region and that watershed to come by.
When?
April 26th is the date. I'm not sure of the exact time of the cleanup, but I'm pretty sure the afternoon booth is either noon to 3 or 1 to 3. So if you come at 1, you're good. Come at noon, you can be twiddling your thumbs. I don't know.
All right.
I'll find out more before the next meeting, but I thought maybe some might want to get that on their calendars.
All right. Thank you. I'm just trying to think. I don't think I have anything. Well, let's maybe think of some things. We have, Thursday I'm speaking to Leadership Urbandale, so I'll do that, right, Derek? We're doing that. And then we're doing a Stock the Pantry event right after that. So the pantry is going to be about ready to open here very soon, so be exciting to see that. So that's, I think, on the radar right now for me. We, again, as you note on the agenda, we have 2 meetings set for April 1. One is the 5 o'clock budget meeting, the required budget meeting that we have to hold, and then the regular council meeting on April 1 as well, so at 6 o'clock, so.
Is the food pantry having a grand opening?
They will at some point, yeah. Derek, you want to address it?
The stock, the mayor puts out right for that's just a media-only invite. And then there'll be a grand opening, ribbon cutting celebration once they get the actual facility open. They're still putting up shelves and furniture.
Is there a projected date for that yet, or
Not
not yet?
a date
Okay.
set yet, but we're thinking late April.
Oh, fun.
And
We'll be sure to send all that information out.
and I remember what I had. I wanted to know, have you received any calls yet, Nikki, about the tax document that got sent out?
Only one so far, and I'm down to 26 minutes.
I haven't gotten any emails. I don't think
I haven't either, but I saw it yesterday.
Counties. My appreciation for marketing, I already told him. This is what Dallas looks like, this is what Polk looks like. It's much easier to read, but it's exactly the same information, exact same layout. Dallas did a nice job as far as that, because they
Do we have information on our website too to help?
We do, on the front page of the website.
Okay.
Yeah, we flashed it up to the front today, but that same that we did last year with, here's the link to the Department of Management, if you want the really long explanation, why is it so complicated, and what do you need to worry about? Yes, same thing, all in today.
Perfect. Well, thanks for that. I appreciate that. I know it's a lot of work to do that, so. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
Thank you.